Hi everyone, welcome to Deadline Dilemmas brought to you by Fantasy Football Scout. Welcome back, Pras. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. We are recording just after the Arsenal game. So game week 33, the longest one or the biggest double game week of the season has just come to an end. I don't know how many people actually noticed that it was a double game week because not many players played or started both the games. But I'm doing well. You tell me.
Let's have a debrief from this double game week. So I think both of us bench boosted. We've done a lot of planning. As anyone that
I don't
watches
know
us
what bench
week in,
boosting is, man. I don't know what it was. Just bench points, no boosting.
I was about to say to you. I mean, realistically, Praz, what I should have done is recorded our segment from the last video where you said next week is 100 points. Me and you would be on the show 100. And unfortunately,
I'm on 80.
I'm not even surprised. I'm surprised you didn't surpass that, to be fair. When I saw Kivio's score, I actually started laughing. I thought, how convenient. I went Saliba because I had more money, and Saliba, in theory, is a superior centre back. But
Yeah,
you got
definitely
punished
is.
for that.
Definitely is.
But just to debrief quickly. So my bench boost, I think it's going to be I'm on 72. It might be 75. Okay. My captain was almost, I thought I pulled it to perfection. I captained Saka. Boy, how can it? I mean, this just sums up my season. I know I say it every week, unfortunately. I'll try to move on real quick. But you saw the first match in this double, Prez. I mean, that cameo, it was only 57 minutes, but in theory, he could have returned at least 3 attacking returns. So when I saw that, that was a painful one. Today, I kind of was prepared for a benching. And he came on. I thought maybe he had that quality shot, which Henderson made a very good save. That would have turned a average, well, poor game week into a good game week. The rest of the team realistically didn't really deliver. Like, as I said, I'm on par with people that didn't. In my mini leagues, I'm on par with people that didn't even bench boost. So, yeah, it did not go to plan at all. What about you?
Look, I mean, this was a week where a lot of people used a chip, right? So, yes, bench boost didn't work, but neither did other chips. So, people triple captain Mamouche, people triple
Yeah,
captain Saka, didn't work. People played assistant manager. I think people who played it on Arteta did okay. Like, you could have had 2 wins, but it was okay. I see other people who were on, like, I guess some other managers did Pep. Yeah, Pep was okay. So, assistant manager was all right. So it was not like anybody smashed it, right? I mean, I can't think of a player that
the only one
you
is
wish you
in
were.
Bumo. In Bumo, the ones that
In
had
Bumo,
him, there's
fine.
not a lot. There's not a
Yeah,
lot, but the ones that did have him for some whatever permutation, whatever
there will
team
always
strategy
be
they
a
were
player like
doing.
that, man.
Yeah,
There'll
yeah,
always be like
yeah.
it was what he was 10% owned. So it is what it is, man. Like what are you gonna do? I just think it's one of those weeks that not much worked out. Just get rid of it and move on, right? I mean, there's 5 weeks to go. Look forward, not backwards.
Totally agree. I mean, what did you think of my captaincy choice with Saka captain? I thought, if I'm honest with you, when I looked at it, I knew the minutes was always a risk, so that part I'm not going to moan on it. But I thought with the minutes he had, I was expecting at least one return. Where Marmoush was unlucky the first game. I know he was the very popular captain, and people got it right regarding his minutes. But I thought I was going to be on a winner here. Just hasn't fell for me this season. Just hasn't dropped that little bit of luck that you need.
Look, I mean, I think I mentioned it. I felt it was too high risk for not a lot of reward, because Marmoush he didn't have too many chances, but I felt he would get the minutes, and he did. He played pretty much 90 minutes in both the
Yeah,
games,
yeah.
and so you're taking that on with the Saka who at best would have got 120 minutes, right? So even if he started both games, he would have come off around 60 minutes for both.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, Saka captainers or Saka owners deserve more points because he did a
yeah.
lot, especially in the Ipswich game. Tonight, he didn't do much. So, yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of bad luck, but you can also see it from the other side where you were a little lucky as well, where Mamouche did nothing over two games, playing almost 180 minutes compared to you having Saka only for 90 minutes and
Yes.
still actually matching him.
But I thought the reason I thought it was a worthwhile risk in this instance here, I know there's a couple I've done which were much more riskier than this. I thought the fixtures were very difficult for Man City. I mean, it turned out they put in good performances. There's look like they're starting to turn things around come the end of the season. But I thought the Everton fixture, for example, they're tricky fixtures. The Resolute, it was for Man City, and then it was Villa, wasn't it, the second game? So difficult fixtures, and the gamble I took. But like you said, I agree, you can look at things both ways. I think what just plays on my mind was the first game against Ipswich. Even with the limited minutes, I honestly thought 2 attacking returns would have been gigantic in a game week like this. And sometimes those things fall for you, but it wasn't to be. But yeah, I think, like you said, one of those game weeks. It is what it is. We forget about it, and we've got a nice game week to look forward to. Let's just say that.
Yeah, nice game week. I mean, there's going to be like 70-75% chips in play. So, people listening to this not on a free hit, apologies. There will be a little bit of free hit focus, but I think if I was not on a free hit, I'd be very interested to see what other people are doing. So it will also sort of determine your moves. And we will, let's spend about 2 minutes on non-free hitters as well in terms of what they should be thinking about as we talk about our drafts. So it's not like we want to not talk about them. But the problem is, even if you're not on a free hit, right, you can't do much in Game Week 34 apart from just pick like the steady picks like Mbumo, Bowen. You can't do really a lot because you don't know the doubles yet. So that's just where we are. If we have doubles in 36.
Exactly. I was about to say there's still quite a bit of uncertainty around that. But perfect segue, straight into our teams, which we're both on free hit, as Pras just touched on. And we're going to go straight into my team here. Let me just read through it so everyone gets it. So this is where I'm at the moment. So obviously with free hit, you can pick anyone, make as many transfers as you want. But the fixtures, what stood out to me, and I'll tell you my feedback when putting this team together. Not as easy as I thought it would be. So anyway, Leno in goal, because obviously the Southampton fixture. I fancy Fulham for a clean sheet. 8 Nori, Virgil van Dijk, and Trippier is the back three. In midfield, I've got a midfield five of Luis Diaz, Mohamed Salah, so the double Liverpool attack. Murphy keeps his spot, I should say, and Cliver and Palmer. Up top, I've got Cunha and Isaac, and on the bench, all playing plays just in case I do need them. Kepa, Chris Wood, back from injury, straight back into the goals, and Sessegnon and Kirkes. So that's the 15-man squad. It looks quite nice on the eye. Obviously, I've gone very aggressive on the fixture matchups, as you can see there, Pras. But I'm going to try and give you some of the thinking behind some of the picks. So, for example, Virgil van Dijk, that I would preferably want. I would preferably want Trent. So I would want. So you're thinking, even if it is Trent and he's fit, you still not fancy a Liverpool. You don't fancy a Liverpool.
If Trent
defender.
is fit, you pick Trent, of course.
Yeah.
But if Trent is not fit, Spurs is not the fixture where you want to say, okay, it's a banker clean sheet. Like we haven't got. Oh no, we have got Rob T's clean sheet odds. So
we have.
Let's have a look.
We're gonna go through them.
Liverpool, in my mind, won't even be top 3. Like go to their clean sheet odds. Do you have the next slide? The other one that he has.
Where is it? Is it this one here?
Is this one? Here
we go.
So Liverpool are fourth, under 40%. So
which is weird. I know the fixture there plays a big part in it, but the reality is I think we are the best defense in the Prem now, aren't we? With clean sheet anyway.
Yeah,
I know we've rolled our luck a couple of times.
One game.
Yeah, I know. But
if you were picking for 6 weeks, I would say pick the best defense because their actual defense matters. If you're picking for 1 week, I think the odds of Cucurella doing better than Van Dijk are higher. So it's just, an alter or even.
But then we have to offset that with Chelsea being not a very good football team and Liverpool being the best team. So that's how I'm seeing it as well. I fancy a party vibe. As we know, the Arsenal result today it was already confirmed realistically, but Liverpool just need a draw against Spurs, which you could argue makes things not as good because they don't even need to win the game, so they might concede. Maybe I should think about that now. But so going back to my team. So you're not the biggest fan of that. I will say I would prefer Trent. So if I get information on that, I could change it. Now, it does bug me that with a free hit, there's a lovely pick on my bench, Sessegnon, who's been playing out of position, which we all love, and playing the worst team in the Premier League. One of the worst teams we've ever seen in the Premier League. And I've got him on the bench. So this is one of the downsides, dare I say that, when you're on a free hit. You can put an incredible squad together, but then you start struggling with who to actually start. Okay, so that's the thinking between Virgil van Dijk. Trippier is another one that might be interesting. I'm not sure if you've gone there. We'll look at your team after. I think this is an opportunity. I think a lot of teams, even if they're not free hitting, will have maybe Livramento or Burn. But I think this is a perfect opportunity to get someone like Trippier, who still gets the clean sheet that they would get, but potentially maybe an attack in return for us with, set pieces or just an open play because he's such a good player. I know his minutes are not 90 at the moment, but he has been 70, 75 minutes, which is not too bad
Which is
for us
fine,
in a
yeah.
fixture like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eight Nori against Leicester, that's a fixture play. And Eight Nori, to be fair, albeit Wolves been a terrible team overall all season, he's been one of the bright, shining lights in that squad, him and Cunyan. I do fancy him against Leicester. So that's the defense there. I think Van Dijk's the only one that's a bit controversial. What do you think of the
Yeah, so
back
look,
four then?
I think a Newcastle defender will be in most teams, whether that's Pope, whether it's Trippier, Share, whatever. So I'm gonna say fine. If you want to go for Trippier, cool. Like you could equally go for Pope in goal and Sessegnon, and basically it's the same. Like, in terms of clean sheets, of course, there's also attacking potential. Then you have to weigh Sessegnon's attacking potential versus Trippier's. So that's basically on Newcastle and Wolves defense. I think I'm completely with you. Ait Nouri has to be in. He's probably the most attacking defender in the league. He's playing a very poor Leicester side that's just been relegated. Definitely he's in. Like, no matter what, he will be in. So then that leaves two spots. So I've already made my views about Liverpool clear. If Trent is fit, he definitely makes it. If he's not fit, I'm not interested. I would prefer somebody like a Cucurella, or if you want to go slightly different, even start Kerkez, because Man United will struggle for goals. They'll have an eye on the Europa League. So stuff like that. And so Leno is fine, but I feel both Robinson and Sessegnon are slightly better as picks. Not slightly, I would say materially better, because they have attacking threat as well. So that's my view on defense in general. And I'll obviously talk about my team and some of my decisions. Let's go to midfield now. So
midfield, I think personally, a lot of the stuff are, because such a thing as obvious picks, but there are a couple that are a bit different. I'm going to start with Murphy. The reason I've highlighted him, he's had an excellent season. No disputing that. But all of a sudden, I know that last game they had, they didn't perform that great. Now, Gordon, clearly, he's itching to get back into it. But Barnes has been having a great season. So the point I'm making at, there's almost free for two attacking positions. And I'm not, his minutes were always, anyway, with Murphy, always around 65 to 75 minutes. Is it going to be even more delicate now, Pras, do you reckon? Him as a pick, like I've got the opportunity to free hit. What I'm trying to get at, I've got free hit opportunity here, and I'm still potentially picking a player who's a minutes risk or a rotation risk. What do you think about him?
Look, I think Murphy is fine. Like as a pick, it's one of those picks that will be determined by what Eddie Howe or Tyndall says about our friend Gordon. So if Gordon is completely ready to go and fit, then you can basically say, okay, then there's a risk. If he's not, then I'd expect Barnes to start, Murphy to start, and I think Murphy's a good pick because Leif Davis is out as well for Ipswich, so that's from his side. I just think double Newcastle attack works. Like if you go to the attacking stats, Newcastle should be number one, if after Liverpool, I guess.
Close, so, basically. Yeah, basically the same thing.
So I can understand the appeal for double Liverpool attack and double Newcastle attack. Having said that, Newcastle is also the highest clean sheet odds, but it's not too much in it, right? I mean, the difference between a 46% and a 42%. So if you're foregoing a second Newcastle defender for, let's say, a Cucurella, 42%, not bad. Or if you want to go for a second Wolves defender, even Fulham at 36, not too bad. So I think in general, you can. I'm of the camp that you can forego a second Newcastle defender for a Newcastle attacker. Between Barnes, Gordon, and Murphy, you just leave it to press conference and then decide. But I'm also leaning Murphy at the moment.
I think Murphy, what's on his side from my he's realistically the out of the three, he plays right wing the best out of all of them. Where Barnes and Gordon are fighting for left position. Barnes has been excellent, no disputing that, but Gordon is their marquee player. Now, it shouldn't be like that. You should get your position on merit if you're playing good. But we know in football, the manager will be itching. Trust me, he'll be itching to bring Gordon in. And maybe that last game, that last performance could be enough for him to get the nudge. But I do think Murphy is pretty safe, at least for the 65 minutes. So currently he's in my team, but I thought he was a good discussion point. Next, the double Liverpool attack. So Salah, I think is, all right, forget that. Luis Diaz is, I think, it's an interesting one. I mean, I can tell you, from a Liverpool perspective.
Yeah, Liverpool fan perspective, I need it.
Yeah,
I need it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's very hot and cold. There's games we watch him, Praz, and it's super frustrating. I mean, he's always busy, always hardworking. But recently, I'm not sure if you want to say he's been bumbling his way to returns, but he has. Some of the performances have merited it. Some of the performances have not. But for some reason, FPL-wise, he has been getting the returns. And it's in his favor that he plays in that number 9 position, even when Gakpo plays. So then the minutes, because I was considering with a free hit, is there an opportunity for me to go different and go Jota? I honestly was really tempted, but I think that's a much more higher risk pick than Luis Diaz. I think Diaz is, if we're talking minutes here, and that's what we want in these fixtures, I think Luis Diaz is pretty locked in, whether it's left wing or up top.
Yeah, but what do you think? Where will it be? Because there's a big difference between him playing
I
left
think
wing
it's
or
left.
up
I
top.
think it's left wing. I think Jota will get. If I had to predict, I think Jota will get the start. I think it'll be Diaz, Jota, and Salah will be the front three.
Okay, you don't think Gakpo's ready to start?
He might be, and he did fancy him at one stage. I just think for some reason, I just look at this as a Jota game here. He didn't play the last game, and he has been way off it since he's come back from that rib injury. He hasn't looked the same. Like he really hasn't looked the same. And all Liverpool fans are big fans. And this is one of the few opportunities we've had him in an out of position in midfield, pretty cheap, and it's like we can't take advantage of it. So I did think about it, but I got a feeling it'll be a painful ride. I think that 1 minutes wise.
Yeah,
for example, even if he starts Pras, sorry to interrupt you, just to finish on that, even if he starts, he could come off and then Diaz will go central, and then, for example, Gakpo will go left wing. I think Jota would always be the one that suffers.
Yeah, I suppose. And I guess regardless of who starts, I think you'd expect Jota or Gakpo to be subbed off for the other as the first substitution. So maybe Diaz gets some time on the left wing as well. I'm warming up to him as a pick. I'm not completely there yet because there's a lot of good picks. So we will see, but that's good to know. And if Trent is okay, what do you need to hear to put Trent in your team?
I'm not even sure we're going to get that, because I just have the feeling that Bradley's gonna start. Especially, I mean, you shouldn't really look at football like that with all the speculation with Trent's, Trent leaving and whatnot. I just think Bradley start. I'm not sure if Trent comes in, but the question you asked me, I'm not sure. Maybe Slot gives us an indication that he's ready to go now, something like that in a press conference, which is enough to go for it. But then we know we're taking a huge risk, like with him. Is he fully fit? You saw when he came on that day the impact he made, but minutes wise, I think he's a risk. So that's the reason he's not in my team. If he is, he'd be going straight in. But I'm not sure we're going to get that, though, Pres. I'm not sure we're going to get the indication if he's going to start or not. So if you do go there, just bear in mind you could get burnt.
So what you're saying is, if you don't get anything, you're not going for Trent.
Nah. And then it becomes, do I stick with Virgil van Dijk, like you said? For some reason, I fancy him being the game where I think Liverpool's going to win the league, him being the captain to do something. Obviously, that could turn out to be complete rubbish, and he doesn't even get a clean sheet or whatnot. But I do fancy him. But yeah, I could easily swap him. Like you said, look at my team. Sessegnon, Kirkes, there's other options as well. There's so many options in free hit. But for now, I'm comfortable with that.
Yep, got it.
So the other two midfielders, and they're both actually talking points as well. So let's start with Kluivert. Now, he's just come back from injury as well, straight back in the team. I know in the reverse fixture, they gave Man United a good beating. Was it 3-0 at Old Trafford? And that's when Man United were taking the Premier League serious. Now flip it around, it's at Bournemouth's ground, and Man United have completely tapped out. I mean, you can tell me in a minute. They're full focus. All the eggs are in one basket for the Europa League. I like him as a pick. He's central to all of Bournemouth's attack, the penalty taking. The only issue with him, the negative here, is the minutes. And I think this is quite a theme in most of our, I think it's the way the Premier League's going with huge squads, that minutes are getting much more trickier. He's definitely not a 90-minute player. So I'm picking him or thinking 75 minutes, 80 minutes, is that good enough? But he's in there. What do you think of that pick?
I have him as well. I think he's a good pick. The only concern is, is it the case that his ceiling is like, those hat tricks that we've seen, the couple of hat tricks, or is it basically that they'll share around a couple of goals? Bournemouth's form is a little bit of concern. He's at the periphery of my team. Like, it would be either Diaz or Kluivert, because I'm pretty sure I'll play 3 strikers. So I'm still debating between the two. So I'm not really sure. Like, I like Diaz as a 1-week fling, like the party, play Spurs. Kluivert, I also get the same appeal, but I just think nobody else other than free hitters will have Diaz. So there's a little bit of temptation there. So when you come to my team, you'll see.
No worries. We'll flick through. If I'm going too long on some of these players, let me know. Some of them you've got in your team, so it's good that we're discussing them. Exactly. If that makes sense. We're covering it on both of them. So Yeah. So Palmer is another interesting one. A player in the last, what, 2 returns in the last 13, say. Okay. We've all been frustrated about him. We've seen the memes and whatnot. Him and Chelsea both dropped off at a similar time. I've still got him. And he's the one I'm actually not sure on. And I'll tell you what, it's again that Everton fixture. Moyes, I know he's lost a couple recently, but the Everton and the injury to the centre backs make a huge difference as well. But I don't know how much I trust Chelsea. Chelsea's in the same camp. They've got the motivation for the Premier League. They still need to finish in Champions League places. But then also, we saw Maresca doing crazy rotation. He is thinking about the European football as well. So
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a player. I mean, what do you think? What's your take on Palmer?
I mean, firstly, I don't think Maresca will take European football more seriously than Premier League, because Premier League will get them Champions League, Conference League will get them Europa League. So
Yeah.
there is no reason, absolute no reason for them not to 100% focus on the Premier League. Of course, they would like a trophy, but they have other players that are good enough to get there. So that would be my first thing. So I wouldn't be concerned there. I think it will be the first team and they'll go for it completely. So motivation is not an issue for me. Form is a concern. Like no issue, no denying it that Palmer's form has dipped. His confidence has dipped. He's putting all these cryptic Instagram messages. So look, there is something there. But at the same time, what I would say is if you're on a free hit and you're not picking one of the highest ceiling players in the game that is on penalties, that has a very nice fixture, that non-free hitters won't have. A lot of non-free hitters won't have. Like some may, some like, for example, I know Flapjack, the ex-Deadline Dilemmas guy, he free hitted 33 and now he'll have Palmer back for 34. But he's an exception. I think a lot of people in general would not have Palmer in their team because they've gotten frustrated or never had him in the first place since game week, since their wild card. It's an opportunity, man. Take the opportunity. Like, I genuinely think he's a better pick than others that we're debating in the midfield slot. So I think he's better than Kluivert, he's better than Diaz, he's better than Murphy. Will he score more points or not? I can't say that. If I knew that, like, I would not be playing FPL, I'd be doing something else. So what I'm saying is that his potential is very high. He's on penalties. He's playing for a team that is all the motivation to win the league. Arguably, he's playing a team that has lost. Not arguably, he's playing a team that has lost their most important centre back.
Yeah.
Have no motivation in the league anymore. So I think the narrative is there. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't have Palmer.
I think it's just the form. Simple as that. I think that's the only thing against it. I'm not. He's in my team, as you can tell, so I'm not overthinking it. It's only strictly the form. Because what you said, all the stuff is correct. I think the biggest selling point is what you said, that a lot of that position now is filled by either KDB or Saka or Foden by a lot of non-free hit teams, which means we could potentially have a huge advantage here. So I totally get you. I'm with you there. Hence why he's in the team. But for me, you sound much more locked in with him. I'm not 100% sure. I think the front two pick themselves. Cunha against Leicester. Cunha, we know he's causing a bit of a stir whenever he's not on the pitch, causing trouble, statements and whatnot. But the fixture against Leicester is just too tempting. With basically, he's their star player. Everything goes through him. And Isaac, I mean, there's not much to discuss him. I've got on the bench Chris Wood here, Praz. I mean, what do you think? Because I'm playing with 5 midfielders. Even without even transferring players out, I was tempted. But Brentford fixture is not an ideal fixture, is it? Or is it?
Brentford fixture is fine. He'll get 2 big chances. Normally he puts one away.
Yeah, he does.
So question is if you want to go for it. I mean, there's the other appeal that this is the only game that's on a Thursday, while the whole weekend is finished on a Sunday. So do you want to have something to hold on to as hope? I don't really buy into stuff like that, but we play for fun. So if somebody wants to do that, that's a reason.
So you don't buy into that, Praz. You don't buy into that, because people do that. I know it sounds so silly. For example, captain in the early game. Does that ever bother you?
No, but that has some scientific reason. Scientific reason being that players are less energetic in the morning, they cannot prep, they have to wake up earlier, and over a long period of time people have said that there are more upsets happening in the 12:30 game than others. Now that doesn't mean if Salah's playing Southampton at 12:30 I want captain Salah, but yeah, it's a little bit of a consideration. But again, I'm not going to be picking a player or not picking a captain because he plays in the 12:30. Similarly, it's nice to have a player on the Thursday, but you know what, like, it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to be deciding. I'll be deciding simply based on my feeling on what is the better pick. And I think at the moment there's other better picks than Chris Wood potentially. in Raul Jimenez. So I don't know. You haven't included him in your team.
No, not at all. And
If Muniz is out, why would you not have a striker on penalties playing 85 minutes
it was
against
the uncertainty
Southampton?
there. I mean, I could change, but I'm not. This team, I would say to you, was 90%, 85. There's still a couple of positions. He was one I was considering, but I wanted to wait for the news. So as of recording, this is my team. It could two players could still change. So he was one of them. What I will say is maybe and I shouldn't do this. I know what you're going to say. Forget. Remember what he done to me at the start of the season. He's one of the ones. He's on my list, Pras, man. Honestly, every week this guy missing. So I think it's in the back of my mind. But no, nothing wrong with that. It's an excellent pick, and he could easily come into it ahead of him. But I think overall, I'm happy with the team. We're gonna jump into your team now. So hopefully, you might have a couple different players to mine. Anything else that stands out in my team, Pras?
No, we talked about any other midfielders. So you've got 5 here. If you had 7 slots, who are your other 2 that you're thinking?
I'm actually trying to think. Like honestly, looking at the fixtures, who would I be tempted to go? No, I think the ones with this. What about you? Give me some hints. My mind's gone blank. I cannot think of anyone because obviously we're restricted. In Bumo, okay, that's a good shout. Yeah, in Bumo, yeah. If we knew Gordon's going to play, Jota's going to play, like we discussed earlier on, if we had no issues with minutes, I think they'll be quite nice.
You could do Mitoma, you could do Ilanga. There's some left field picks. There's Iwobi from Fulham.
Iwobi, yeah, the fixture's lovely. And Iwobi's had a very good season, actually. He's gone under the radar. I never talk about him or ever consider him, but you're right. But yeah.
No, that's just all. Yeah. That's those are the ones at the top of my mind. I guess you could go for double Chelsea midfield. You could go for Neto, but I don't feel that.
I would never. I'll be surprised if Chelsea score more than 1 goal against Everton.
Yeah,
I don't have the confidence. Yeah, I don't have the confidence in them. It's just Chelsea, the way they play, and that swagger's not there. I mean, they scored 2 stunning goals, no problem. But I don't know. At one stage, Chelsea, they were scoring goals frequently, creating lots of chances. I don't know. I don't have that confidence there. Maybe I should consider them a bit more. Like you, I can see in your team, you've got 3 Chelsea players. What am I seeing? You need to take us through this team, Pras.
Right. So, let's start with defense like you. So, Aitnouri will definitely be in there. Sessegnon will definitely be in there if there is some clues tomorrow. So, Marco Silva's press conference is tomorrow. Who was it? Somebody from some reporter asked online already, what questions should we ask? We've already told him. You should ask number 1, is Wilson fit? Because as you know, Sessegnon has been playing right wing, and basically it's while Harry Wilson's been out. Harry Wilson came back, played 10 minutes in the last game. I don't think Wilson starts. You can't just start another game after playing 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think Sessegnon gets 1 more game, maybe a 60th, 70th, 80th minute sub. That's fine. So I think he's in if he's fit. So the other question was, is he fit? Because, there was some speculation that he limped off in the last game. So that's where we are. I would be very keen to get Sessegnon. I'm very keen to get Cucurella because I've watched Chelsea a lot owning Palmer, and I always see, what the hell is Cucurella doing here? Every game I'm saying, what is Cucurella doing here? So I feel it'll be a low block. I feel like he will invert a lot. I feel like he'll take up spaces to stretch the defense a lot more. I like him. So that's my little bit of a mini second Chelsea attacker. And then Pope becomes like who else? Like I would love Trippier. So if I could play no goalkeeper and have a 4th defender, I would have Trippier in there, or maybe Share. But I don't. So I have to pick which is the defender that I'm sacrificing, and it becomes Trippier by default here. If I get cold feet on Cucurella, I'll probably go Trippier here, and then I'd start Leno, like a bit like yourself. Or if Trent is fit, then it's even more complicated. So I can just see myself basically not going for Trippier because there's a lot of other appealing defenders that I really like. So that's where we are.
That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. The Cucurella one, definitely the almost the standout pick in your defense because, I like the way you sold it to me there. But I'm not sure. I think Trippier, I do prefer him than Cucurella. That'll be an interesting battle between the 3 hitters this game week.
Yeah, but like I'm also getting Newcastle defense. So it's a case of, do you want Trippier and another goalkeeper, or do you want Cucurella and Pope? So that's your equation, because most people will have a Fulham and a Wolves defender.
Yes.
So that's where we are. Let's go for attack first. So forwards, Isak and Cunha are pretty much locked. I am looking for Bellegarde's fitness a little bit. Like, I'd be much more comfortable with Cunha if Bellegarde is out as well. So just something to look out for. I think he starts anyway. And then Raul Jimenez, we talked about when you were sharing your team. I'm very keen to get him because I think having your three strikers playing Ipswich, Southampton, and Leicester has a nice ring to it. You know, like the three promoted teams, all three on penalties. So I like that because you can get lucky with one of them. One of them scores a brace and you get lucky, right? You're trying to get lucky on your free hit. So that's where we are on attack. If Muniz is back fit, then I will avoid Raul Jimenez. And then in
Who
that
would you
case,
go?
I could go Chris Wood for the Thursday thing. I could go Welbeck. I'm not decided, but I'm likely still to go for a third striker because I think there's enough good third strikers. And then we get to midfield. So Salah, Palmer are not going anywhere. I can guarantee you, and I'm saying this on every podcast this week, people are not happy with me being locked in on Palmer. I'm locked in on Palmer. So Salah and Palmer are there. I think Murphy also, I'm pretty sure, will be in there. And then it's a question of who's the fourth midfielder. It could be Kluivert, it could be Luis Diaz. And that's the decision I need to make. It will not be Mbomo because I'm stubborn and I don't want to get him. Next week, I'll get him. I'll buy him.
Oh, okay. All right. So because of the fixture. Simple as
Away
that.
to Nottingham Forest, I'm not
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah.
So
Same.
I think people are points chasing if they're going for him because he scored an 18-pointer last week. If you're not, so this is my 2 minutes on the non-free hitters. If you're not on a free hit, then I think Mbomo is the pick. Like, you get Mbomo or you get Bowen. And I think both are solid picks who have a good game in 34 and have good fixtures after. So that's where you need to go. Or you could go Chris Wood in attack if you want to have an attacking transfer, like Mateta to Chris Wood or something. So I think those would be the things I would think about if you're not on a free hit. But on a free hit, we're all talking like 3-4 positions, right? I think pretty much everyone will have a Newcastle defender, Newcastle midfielder, Newcastle attacker. Pretty much everyone will have Salah. And I would also go as far as saying most will have Palmer. Pretty much everyone will have Cunha and Aït-Nouri. So then you're basically saying, okay, Sessegnon, if he's fit, pretty much everyone will have Sessegnon. You're only working around your third striker, your fourth midfielder, and maybe your third defender. And that's really it. So I would just go, don't need to watch hundreds of videos. Go with who you have your instinct on because it's a 1 week thing. So no data can tell you what happens in 1 week.
Yeah, agree. And that's one of the fun aspects of free hit. You literally do get to pick, just attack, just that game week. No long-term thinking. A lot of these players we wouldn't want in our squads for the rest of the season. But
yeah, and budget is not an issue, right? So it's not like we're trying to squeeze people in. Like, everybody has like 3-4 million in the bank. So you can literally pick who you want.
Speak for yourself, mate. I've got like 1.1 or something. we ain't all got your money. But interesting, you've got the triple Liverpool, but 2 of them on the bench. It's, for some reason, I don't know. That doesn't sit right with me. That Spurs team is very.
It's only because these are the players in consideration. So like I said, Diaz could come in for Kluivert, Trent could come in for Cucurella, or Sessegnon. So these are all dependent on press conferences, but these are the 15, including Reece James, by the way, because he's now back and Gusto is injured. These are the players that I'm considering, basically. So
I mean, is that pick there just for Bance though, Praz? Be honest, the Reece James one, surely, come on. It's only because
Reece
it's
James
a free hit.
has been very lucky for me whenever I have him in my team. So maybe a little bit of good luck charm. I obviously don't expect to reach my third bench. Well, if I do reach my third bench, it's actually great for free hitters because something's happened. And something's happened where people not on free hit will be affected more than people who are on free hit. So I hope James comes on.
That's one way to look at it. Yeah, I mean the team is solid, like you said. I'm struggling to pick faults in it. Cucurella being the real different. I don't think many people. I'm be surprised what his ownership's going to be in this free hit. The rest of it is pretty solid. I think by the deadline, Praz, I think you're going to have the 3 Liverpool players in your starting 11. You'll find a way.
Very well.
I think it's going to be a party vibe, and the way that Spurs team's been playing, score goal. It'd be 3 or 4 goals in that fixture. It has to be.
No, I mean, look, Diaz over Kluivert is something I'm considering and I'm close to. Trent, I'm not sure yet. Like, I don't see Liverpool keeping a clean sheet as such. It's under 40% clean sheet odds, and I'm just feeling the other defenders have an equally high upside ceiling because they're all attacking defenders. These are Sessegnon playing right wing, Cucurella pretty much plays number 10, when they're attacking and he's inverting. Aït-Nouri plays pretty much left wing. So it's not like if I'm picking Trent, it's an easy choice on who to drop. It's not so easy. So why should I take a minute's risk? But Trent's ceiling is Trent. I mean, it's Trent. And maybe we own him for the very last time.
Yeah, I was about to say it's coming to that stage now, isn't it? It'll be announced very, very soon. I think once Liverpool secure the league, they will announce it. They just don't want to do it before then. That's all it is. So it might be straight after that game. He gives a press conference to say, "Yeah, I'm leaving." Okay, so we've discussed. I think everything is pretty straightforward in your team. What about captaincy? So the last 8 game weeks, I've been trying my best to go against sometimes the obvious captain, which hasn't been sensible and has not worked one bit. This game week, even I'm struggling. I find it very difficult to actually go against Mohamed Salah.
But why? Like this week, you have about 7 picks that you can have. You can have anyone you want and captain them.
You say that though, Pras, but Spurs, the records, we know the kind of player he is. So he's most probably till slot. Even if we're winning, don't start doing that rotation with me. So Salah's going to play, you know what I mean? He still needs two assists or 3 assists to beat Henry and KDB's assist record, which I think he's going to do this season. So he will be relentless. And this is a perfect fixture if you watch the way Spurs defend. So, but yeah, I am worried that you say that. Who would be the second best? Isak? Best captain in this team?
Isak or Palmer, yeah. But I agree that Salah is far ahead.
It is, isn't it? It's very difficult. I did try honestly, I really gave it a good shot to have a look around, and I thought I can't do that this week. There's a fine line between being crazy. All right, let me have a look at. So we don't need to worry about fixtures for this week. So we're being selfish. We're strictly free hitting both me and Praz. Just to look at the team, if there's anyone else that we've missed, I think we've covered the majority of the players. Looking at just the matchups of goals and clean sheets, is there any other players that we've missed, or maybe even for single?
So go to the next. So go to the next slide. No, another one. Yeah, this. So let's go for first attack, right? So Liverpool, I think Salah and people are considering Diaz works.
Yeah.
Newcastle, people are looking at double attack works. Then Brighton is the one which is basically 2 goals. So between Brighton, Bournemouth, Fulham, Wolves, and Chelsea, there's not much in it, right? I mean, there's not much in it at all. So pick your warrior, like whoever you want. So if you go for Welbeck, cool, man. Like that's fine because he'll be on penalties. He'll get more minutes because João Pedro is not playing. He's suspended. So yeah, I think he works. Evanilson works if you want. Fulham, Raul Jimenez works. Cunha's in there. For Chelsea, people want Jackson. Go for Jackson, man. Like, these are all similar for attack. So I would not worry too much. But look at Nottingham Forest, Brentford, or both 1.65, 1.38. People are picking Boomer at 1.38 expected goals. I mean, good luck. Like, I'm not hating it. But I'm just saying, man, like, live a little. It's free hit. So
I think it's more because what you said, what he done last week, his minutes are incredible and takes penalty. He kind of ticks all of the, the FPL managers, isn't it? Very safe. He's a very safe pick. But I agree with you. There's more exciting, more juicy picks this week. What's your Man United team going to be like this week? Like, what's Amron going to do?
So what I reckon he will do is basically have a mix of first teamers. So like, Bruno could start because Bruno was rested in the last game. You could see Dorgu, Dalo come back as well. So, I mean, Dorgu started the last one, but Dalo could come back. But these guys would all get early subs. Like, it would all be like 68th minute, 55th minute. Some could be halftime subs. He doesn't care about this game.
Yeah.
So, it's not like if Man United are 2-0 down, he's going to keep Bruno for 95 minutes. Look, Bruno is different, right? But the focus is not this game. So that plays at the back of my mind in terms of what are the motivations and probably why Bournemouth are as high as, to score as many number of goals against Man United as Wolves are to score against Leicester. So that's what it shows how incredible it is.
And for clean sheets, I think Newcastle, like you said, will stand out against Ipswich. It depends though. Is that Dilap? What's been happening with Dilap? I've not even kept up. But for some reason,
he's been injured and then now he's not starting.
Yeah.
He's not fully back.
Or do you reckon that's what it is? It's nothing to do with potential negotiations behind clause because we know obviously he's going to leave. He would have left even if they stayed up.
A lot of them have relegation release clauses, so I would not think it's an issue. And he'll be joining Man United, so we're picking a lot of Man United are in for what Cunha and Delap. Really happy.
I heard, yeah. Are you happy?
Yeah, I think they're both good picks. Both reasonably okay age profiles, although Cunha is slightly more. Both are we're activating release clauses, so it's not like it's a negotiation like Sancho or Anthony. We're overpaying, so I think it's fine. Like
Is it
both
an
have
improvement on Xerxes and Hoyland?
anything is an improvement on Hoyland, man. Like the guy is not scoring. Like what can I say?
I'm enjoying that too much, but yeah,
We
Wolves
could,
defensively.
you joke about it, but we're on for our third trophy in 3 years.
I'll give you that. No, fair play. If you do win that trophy, you have to give it to Manchester United, where even in the biggest doom and gloom,
Exactly.
they still
like
put. I
the
know,
worst period of
I
the
know.
history of the
Yeah,
club,
yeah, yes. And you're still
like
put
the recent
that
history.
game. I have to be honest with you. Obviously, being a Liverpool fan, I'm meant to enjoy when you guys are losing. But that game last week, I actually was going crazy. The atmosphere, when you lot came, is it Leon? That 6 minutes, I went from, I lost my way because really, as I said, I'm not cheering Man United, but at the end, I nearly cheered them on because it was honestly, what a great. First, I was laughing.
Shall I tell you a
Amazing.
story? Shall I tell you a story about that game? So India's obviously 4.5 hours ahead of the UK, and so I was watching that game, and then I was watching it, Man United 2-0 up. So I'm like, okay, let me tuck into bed now. It's 2:30 a.m. We're coasting here. Then Lyon score, and then they scored again, equalized 2-2, and like I can't sleep now. And then so I'm still in bed, but I'm still following the game on my phone. And then Lyon scored 2 more.
Yeah.
And then I go, you know what? Chuck it. I'm sleeping. And so I missed the comeback.
No, you actually, that's when you gave in. Oh,
I
my
slept.
God.
So, and this is why I was like, man, I need to come back to the UK. Like, I can't handle this shit. I can't like go to bed knowing a game is going on again. And I have done it when I was in India before. I did it, but this thing hurts, man. When you wake up and you go 5-4, and it wasn't like I woke up in the morning. I woke up like an hour and a half later because I knew the game hadn't finished, right? So I wanted to check.
Yeah.
And I genuinely, I'm not kidding. I checked. I got happy. I went back to bed. In the morning, I was unsure. Did I dream that
Was
stuff?
he dreaming?
Or was it actually something that happened? So
it's a shame you missed it because I reckon your reaction, because my reaction, as I said, as a non-Man United, I was going crazy. I thought it was one of the best endings to a match I've seen in such a long time. I know we've spoken a lot about being boring football this season, but that's unreal. That's the game you come away thinking, how can people not like football? Honestly, what a game. But all right, I said enough about United chat. I think we've covered, to be honest, everything here, Pras. Unless there's anything else you think we've missed.
No, we're good. We're good. Thank you for doing this on a Wednesday.
No problem at all.
Dinner tomorrow. I think the video will still be released maybe Thursday night or even a Friday morning, but hopefully nothing is, there's nothing between now and then that comes up, because really most of the press conferences are on Friday anyway.
Yes. So hopefully, and if you're still here watching, please subscribe and like the video. Praz always likes it when I say that. But anyway, on that note, I'm going to wish you guys good afternoon. See you next week.
All right, everyone. See you.